What's going on, everybody? Doc, Average Gamer Guys, back yet again for Escape from Tarkov action and bringing you another episode in our Teaching Tarkov series, which is a series based around helping those that are a little bit newer to the Tarkov community. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about and going over which traders you should level up and who you should focus on first. We're going to cover, and we covered in a previous video, how to level your traders up. So if you are very new to the Tarkov community and you're looking to just get your kind of arms wrapped around it, that's a great video. I'll probably throw a little card up on the corner of the screen here sometime at the beginning. Go check that out. But I thought it would be an interesting follow-up to have a discussion and give some thoughts on who you should level up, who you should focus on initially as you jump in, and what the benefits, especially hitting level 2 with that trader, is going to be prior to cracking that flea market at level 20. So we'll jump into that. Before we do, quick plug. If this video is helpful, like, comment, subscribe. We do appreciate all the support on the channel. We've had some really good videos in the past, specifically with this Teaching Tarkov series. So thank you so much for the support. In addition, if you want to come hang out with us, we do stream Fridays and Saturdays, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time over on Twitch. That link is in the description below. We have a Discord community. Plenty of people that can help answer any Tarkov related questions, run some raids with. In addition, we always post our new videos as well as when we're going live, because we do randomly stream throughout the week. So that's a great place to be to stay up to date with the channel. We have a Twitter as well, if that's a preferred social media platform for you. You can follow us over there, and we do the same thing, posting when our new videos up, and some other things related to the game, and just some random thoughts. So we'd appreciate some follows. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. All right, so as we jump in, here's what I wanted to do. And this information is going to be up to date as of patch and wipe 12.11. Things are going to change. Things are going to pretty consistently change. I don't see any major changes with level 2 on a lot of these traders, but please just note, if you're watching this sometime after this video goes up, there is a chance that there has been some changes to this. I don't, again, foresee a lot with these level 2 traders, but I feel like I got to give that disclaimer up front. So what I want to do is talk about who you should focus on, what trader you should spend some time focused on leveling up, and specifically why. Again, the change to Flea Market level 20, I think, is driving a lot of the necessity of this. And I think it's important to find opportunities where the items that you can pull from the trader help or can help you get a slight advantage over the competition as you move up to that point. If you're not familiar, again, when you reach level 20, you really have access to pretty much everything at this point in the game. Whatever's posted on the flea market, a lot of the items are going to be very expensive. And here is the second reason where I think that leveling up traders and picking kind of who you should try to focus on first is important, is because, again, it can save you some money, some rubles in the long run, with access to certain things that maybe other people don't have access to outside of the flea market. Now, I'm going to focus this conversation on really trying to reach level 2 with these respective traders. There are some huge jumps as you move to level 3, and maybe we'll do a follow-up video to this. The reason I want to focus on level 2 is you can reach a lot of traders, pretty much all of them with the exception of Mechanic, prior to level 20. Again, after level 20, I just kind of make the assumption that you're going to go and find the items that you need and pay whatever you need to do, especially if you have a good money run situation. So I want to focus on, again, who should you focus on, who should you try to move towards level 2 with first, and what are the benefits of being able to do that. Now, I will also say that most traders, I think the earliest you can get a level 2 trader, maybe outside of therapists, is level 14. So there's going to be some level grinding. You're going to be stuck on level 1 for quite a while in your journey. Now, levels 1 through 10, I feel like can happen pretty quickly, especially if you can get some survives under your belt. But just realize this opportunity for this is usually about 5 or 6 levels. But definitely level 15 to level 20 is going to take you a little bit of time, depending on how efficient you are at running tasks, and again, how much you actually survive. So this can pay some pretty good benefits. Again, especially as you start coming into that mid-level, that lower mid-level arena, where folks are kind of fighting for something. So let's jump into it first. I'm going to give my first ranking here, which I genuinely believe is to be Peacekeeper. Now, again, I think Mechanic is a fantastic trader to try to level up. The reason he's not in this conversation again is because you don't get level 2 for him until level 20. So basically, as soon as you unlock his ability to get some of the bonuses that he can actually provide, you're also opening up the flea market. So it's a little bit of a moot point. But let's talk about what Peacekeeper specifically has at level 2 and why it is really beneficial. Before we jump into talking about what Peacekeeper can provide for you at level 2, I think it's important. Let's talk about, and I wanted to show what are his level 2 requirements. If you're not familiar with this website, Escape from Tarkov Wiki, again, hopefully I've posted that link in the links below. Give this a run. If you are newer to the Tarkov community, it has a plethora of information. If you ever have any questions about tasks, items, any of those kinds of things, this website stays up to date like crazy. So give it a look. It is a great resource for pretty much anybody that plays Tarkov. So we're going to jump in, but I'm going to focus here really quick and just touch on this. Level 2 for Peacekeeper requires 0 rep. The reason for this is in order to unlock Peacekeeper's quest line, you have to do 6 quests with Skier. Skier's quest line opens up at level 5. I very strongly believe that by level 14 you can get to Peacekeeper's quest line. But the nice part is the required rep for him is 0 in order to crack open level 2, which for me is one thing that kind of boosts him just slightly above the rest of the traders as far as ease of use. Now, the difficult part is going to be, you see 11,000 here. This has to be sales in USD. So again, things that you buy and sell from him, he's going to pay you out in USD, and you're going to have to use your USD. The nice part about this at the early game is you really don't need USD for a whole lot. So if you spend some time and focus, at least selling some things to them, maybe turn in some of your diaries, your slim diaries, and some of those other things that you might find in some safes along your journeys, you should be able to hit 11,000 USD relatively easy with some focus. And then level 14, again, probably one of the earliest traders that you're going to be able to reach as far as level 2. So as we jump back over, there's a couple of standout items that really just push him above the mark for me, and why he's my number one focus. Probably the first thing here is going to be M80 ammo. M80, if you're not familiar, is an absolute beast of a round, especially early game, when most players are probably running Class 2 or Class 3 armor. This thing definitely handles its own even against Class 4, so those folks that might be pushing close to 20, maybe have Ragman up to level 2 and have access to level 4 armor, anything that you're running with M80s is just going to absolutely keep you in the fight and probably win you a lot of fights as well. A great round to take down boss guards, bosses, scav raiders, and if you can, again, facilitate the use of this round, it's a good one. So that's a clear standout for me. The other thing that you get access to here is M856A1. While certainly not the best 556 cartridge, this is far and away a better option than 855. So if you are running some of your standard M4s that maybe you kind of hung on to, maybe you're still kind of running the ADAR, which is a great early game weapon, this is a great ammo to kind of upgrade yourself, and I think you'll find that you'll win a little bit more fights with access to this ammunition as well. Not the hardest ammunition to find, as is a lot of this stuff at level 2, but just having the ability to buy these things and kind of upgrade your status a little bit is really, really beneficial. You can see he's got a lot of really solid optics, some good attachments, definitely some things that you're going to need for your gunsmith tasks, so that's another big benefit for moving Peacekeeper up quickly, is to try to work through that gunsmith task line for mechanic, which has some really, really solid rewards. In addition to that, another small standout, but something that I think is really, really neat, the Mark 12 low-profile gas block. Again, if you're running those ADARs, very popular early game weapon, this is going to help you remove that front sight post, clear up that sight, and probably help you win a little bit of fights too. And it's pretty cheap. I know there's another trader that sells this, but this gives you another option if you want to be able to find it and you're running that weapon a lot. As far as weapons go, I have a personal favorite here, which is the MPX. I think this gun, especially early wipe, it is arguable for me, this weapon between the Vector. Vector definitely has some advantages in the long run, but the Vector is a pretty late game unlock. At this point, the 9mm version. I'm going to talk about the 45 version here pretty quickly, but MPX is a great, I don't want to call it necessarily a budget gun, but is a great early game gun, 30 round mags. It's pretty simple. Slap a sight and maybe a foregrip on it, and you're rocking and rolling. And even PSTGZH is going to do some damage if you can hit some shots. The fire rate on this thing is absolutely fantastic. So this is really an early game standout for me, especially if you're going to be running maps like maybe Interchange, Customs if you got to get into dorms. These are great close range option weapons for you, and again, that kind of boosts him above a little bit for me. The nice part too is you also do with level 2, you get some access to backpacks, Untar armor if you are up into that quest line, which is really important and you're going to need, and you certainly want to be able to buy it here unless trying to find it early, especially if you don't have the flea market cracked at this point. You also do get an option for night vision. While this isn't great night vision, it does give you the option to run it. It is very expensive, but it is an option if you want to start doing some night raids, and especially early in a wipe, this is a pretty good option to try to get there. I talked about M80s. I'm not the biggest fan of the Keltec RFB, but it is a solid gun. So if you want a good platform to be able to run those M80s, maybe start working on some of your longer range shots and conserve ammo a little bit, that's another big standout for me. So that's a quick down and dirty on Peacekeeper, but I definitely think, in my opinion, he's one of the better ones, and I think he can really give you a competitive advantage with the ammo that he opens up at level 2. With that being said, let's jump into my second trader. So this was actually a little bit of a toss-up for me, and I'm going to pick Skier here over Ragman. Skier and then Ragman are going to be my next two focuses, and there's really one specific reason that we made that shift, and it's purely based on level. So as we jump over, and I talked about, Skier is going to be my next person to focus on, and the big reason for this, again, where he gets the little bit of a nod over Ragman, is because it's a lower level requirement. So just naturally, you're going to unlock him with some focus a little bit sooner. You can see here, his required level is 15. You do have some required rep here, so do focus on a few tasks. To get to the point 2 isn't going to take you but a couple of quests, and then 800,000 rubles in sales is relatively easy to achieve, again with a little bit of focus. So as we take a look at the level 2 tab for Skier, there's a couple of things that just stand out to me, again as nods to give him the slight advantage over Ragman. Probably one of the biggest things is you do unlock and open up the opportunity to run the Vector. Now there's a caveat to this, because ammo for this is going to be relatively difficult to find if you don't have a ton of other progress with your other traders. I am also a big fan of the Stim 9. It is a great early weapon platform. The recoil is basically 0. So if you're looking for a good kind of low budget gun where you don't have to do a lot of modification, minus maybe again a sight and a foregrip, these are going to be some really good options. Skier does have a couple of other things that are going to be really beneficial, especially as far as gunsmith progress. So that's something to kind of keep an eye on, and are going to help you kind of move through that. He generally just gives a little bit more utility when you get to level 2 with him. You get some big sticks, which is probably a standout for anybody running Glocks. This is a good option at relatively cheap if you are running Glocks or want to run a larger magazine. So this is a really good option as well. Again, a couple of items. The Zenit 2K. These, again, not significantly hard to find, but you're going to need some, or you can use some in some of your early gunsmith tasks. And again, just some decent options as far as attachments, modifications. You also do get the PNV-10Ts, which are a significant bump over the option that Peacekeeper had as far as night vision. So I like to focus on this again because I think running night raids with night vision in the early game can be a pretty significant advantage if you can find a way to run them. Even doing some of your customs quests and really any of your quests across your maps, I think you're going to find quite a bit of success being able to do that early on with night vision. So the last thing I'll point out is you do get some suppressor options. While these are relatively pricey, you do unlock the ability to do this trade for the Hexagon 12, which you do need for some quest progress. So again, Skier's a little bit more of a utility pick for me, but some good options here, and I think a good focus in kind of that number 2 slot to just make sure you're spending that money and putting some focus on him as well. I already talked about number 3, which is going to be Ragman. Now, he would have rated probably number 1 if his level requirement wasn't quite as high in order to get him to level 2. Let's jump over and I'll show you that real quick. So you can see here as we jump in and take a look at the wiki again, level 17 is the required level. I think this is probably done mostly on purpose for the sole fact that him at level 2 is going to be a significant upgrade in your armor category, which is a huge benefit, especially when you talk about early wipe. So you only get 3 levels of this prior to hitting level 20 and really getting access to whatever armor that you want to buy. The nice part, though, is you're probably leveling him very efficiently anyways as you make your way to level 17. I would not be surprised without any focus that you have money spent just based on the items that you're going to buy and sell from him in the early game. I still give him the shout out, the number 3 slot, just because I think he is that good. And that 3 levels of being able to purchase armor, you're going to be going to Ragman quite a bit. Even after level 20 to pick up some good stuff in that armor category. That I think this is just somebody that just make sure you're spending the required funds to get him up there. Let's take a look at his level 2 tab. So as we jump over to level 2, the biggest standout things that you're going to have access to, while I don't like this armor because of the ceramic, it finally gives you a good class 4 option. You're going to see quite a few players run this. It is going to definitely be a big upgrade over a lot of the other options, basically just for that class 4 option as well. Probably the other armor that is even more of a standout for me is what me and my community and Sloth so passionately call the Rat Rig here, which is the 6B3TM armored rig. So slot pouches wise, it's not terrible. It's pretty good. This is a great option. Very low budget at 50k. Throw this thing on, grab a backpack, grab a weapon and a headset, and you can run into a raid pretty cheap. Class 4 armor as well. It's Titan, so it repairs actually extremely well. The downside here is only 40 total armor points. The variance, though, is only 7 points from this assault armor. So pick your poison here. Both are good options, I think, especially if you're looking for class 4. My personal preference is this one, but it is what it is. You also have some really good options as far as rigs. The nice part about having some of these rigs, specifically this one, I have found that this rig is an absolute beast as far as early stash maintenance. So if you're struggling with your barter items, Therapist has made this really easy for you with the Lucky Scav junk box if you could save up the funds. But if you're looking for some extra storage, 40k, great slots, fits in your stash really easily, and is a really good option. You also get some backpack options here. I won't cover those too much, but those are obviously beneficial. And you get some barter trades. Most of these you probably won't focus on because of the requirements, but if you can find an option. The last thing I'll talk about with Ragman, which is a huge personal preference of a lot of folks, but I think probably if you were to ask me, the one item that you must have when you go into every raid is a headset. Contacts are a significant upgrade over your GSSHs and some of the other early game options that you have access to. So these are one thing that I say probably pushes Ragman again up very high for me as far as the scale on who you should focus on leveling. And again, if you could get to Ragman level 2 a little bit earlier than level 17, he would be a clear number 1 for me. So there's a couple other good options. You get some helmet options, which aren't bad. You get some good class 3 armors, the Karasa and your 6B23. Both of these actually very good. Armor steel here. This is another kind of low budget-ish favorite of mine, especially if these rat rigs are sold out. This is 50k, so use it as you see fit. Karasa is another really good option with a ton of armor points. You sacrifice a little bit of the area that you protect with it, but it is another very, very good option. So after that, if I had to rank them very quickly, I would say Jaeger and Prapor are right there with right there in neck and neck as far as who you would want to focus on. Jaeger maybe gets the slight advantage only because I think there's some good level 2 options with him. He opens up the Hunter, a couple of shotgun options, which I think can be really beneficial, especially early, that make for some decent kind of lower gear run. I don't include therapists in any of this because you're just very naturally gonna level up therapists, and obviously it's important to have access to meds. One of the big standouts for her at level 2 is going to be Salewa's. I think once you complete the quest, you're able to purchase those. Other than that, again, she does get some good options. Probably the other thing is if you can focus on it, the ability to barter trade for a meds case, especially early game, is really, really important. But again, you are definitely going to level up therapist just naturally, so I kind of keep her out of the conversation. So that's really an overview. Hopefully that was really helpful for you. Hopefully it was nice and concise. And I think, again, it's important. Jump over to the wiki, take a look, get familiar with what you're going to be able to open up with as you work on those traders. I think, again, some of those things can give you a really good advantage, especially early wipe, or even if you're later on in the wipe and maybe just catching up. A focus on those things are going to help bring you to more of an even playing field, which I think is going to be really beneficial for you to hopefully lose less fights, and again, kind of keep you a little bit closer to the meta until you can hit level 20 and crack that flea market. So we'll wrap this one up here. More from the Teaching Tarkov series coming on. I do think I'll do a follow-up video as far as level 3 traders, which is a little bit bigger of a gap, but can provide some pretty significant benefits, and maybe is a better conversation as well on who you should focus on as you move through that journey. Again, also being able to have opened up at that point probably the flea market. So again, if there's anything I missed, if you have any disagreements, I would love to hear them down below. Any tips, any things that I missed, anything that you want to throw down in the comments below. If this was helpful for you, I do appreciate, again, all of the support. And look forward. We got a whole ton of series, whole ton of stuff going on. Escape from Tarkov. We're playing a lot of Wipe 12.11. So if you're interested in Escape from Tarkov content, this is the place to be. We'll wrap this one up. I've been Doc, Average Gamer Guys. As always, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video. Peace.